The Battle of Adwa, Ethiopia's historic victory over colonialism. On March 1, 1896, Ethiopia, under Emperor Menelik II, achieved one of the greatest victories in African history at the Battle of Adwa. This battle was more than just a military triumph. It was a defining moment that preserved Ethiopia's sovereignty and inspired anti-colonial movements across Africa. Let's look at the background of this conflict. During the scramble for Africa, European powers carved up the continent. Italy, eager to establish its own empire, turned its sights on Ethiopia. In 1889, Italy signed the Treaty of Wuchale, Menelik II, believing it gave them control over Ethiopia. However, there was a major discrepancy. The Italian version of the treaty claimed Ethiopia was an Italian protectorate. The Amharic version merely recognized diplomatic relations without surrendering sovereignty. When Menelik discovered this deception in 1893, he rejected the treaty, angering the Italians. Italy, determined to enforce its claim, launched an invasion from its colony in Eritrea in 1895. Menelik's preparation for war. Unlike many African rulers facing European invasion, Menelik had time to prepare. He spent years modernizing Ethiopia's military, securing modern rifles and artillery from France and Russia. He also united Ethiopia's diverse ethnic groups, Amhara, Oromo, Tigrayans, and others, under one cause. Menelik's wife, Empress Taitu Betul, played a crucial role. She was a brilliant strategist, leading her own forces and cutting off Italian water supplies before battle. By early 1896, Ethiopia had gathered an army of over 100,000 troops, far outnumbering the Italian forces. Let's now look at the Italians' plan and its fatal mistakes. Under General Oreste Baratieri, underestimated Ethiopia's strength. Baratieri had about 17,000 men, including Italian soldiers and Eritrean askari fighters. Though outnumbered, he believed European military discipline would guarantee victory. Let's now look at the Italians' plan and its fatal mistakes. Underestimating Ethiopia's army, they thought Ethiopian warriors were untrained and poorly armed, not realizing Menelik had modern weapons and experienced soldiers. Their second mistake was dividing their forces. Instead of staying in a strong defensive position, the Italians split into 3 separate columns, making them easier to defeat. Their third mistake was poor intelligence. The Italians misjudged Ethiopia's numbers and marched into mountainous terrain where Ethiopian forces had the advantage. The battle begins March 1, 1896. At dawn, Ethiopian scouts reported the Italian forces were vulnerable. Menelik launched a surprise attack, overwhelming the Italians before they could regroup. The right flank under General Double Meta was led into a valley where Ethiopian warriors ambushed and annihilated them. The left flank under General Aramondi was overwhelmed by relentless attacks from Taitu Betul's forces. The center flank under General Albertone was deserted by many Eritrean askari troops, leaving the Italians defenseless. The Ethiopian cavalry and infantry, armed with rifles, spears, and swords, overran the Italians. Menelik's troops used the hilly terrain to their advantage, surrounding and crushing the invaders. By midday, the Italian army was in full retreat, suffering one of the worst defeats in European colonial history. And now let's take a look at the aftermath of this war. The Italian casualties were over 7,000 killed, 1,500 wounded, and 3,000 taken prisoner. Ethiopia forced Italy to sign the Treaty of Addis Ababa, 1896, recognizing Ethiopia's full independence. The victory shocked Europe, proving that an African nation could defeat a colonial power. The battle inspired African resistance movements and became a symbol of Black pride worldwide. Menelik II secured Ethiopia's place as a sovereign nation on the world stage. The victory is celebrated every year on March 1st as a national holiday in Ethiopia. The Battle of Adwa was not just an Ethiopian victory, it was an African victory, a defiant stand against imperialism that changed history forever.